My name's Gary Stokan, as they said, and I just wanted to say how excited we are and pumped up we are to host Michigan State University for what Mel Tucker, the Coach of the Year in the Big Ten, has done, and the team to be 10-2, fighting for their 11th win, which will only be the 6th time in 97 years that Michigan State's glorious football history, a team would have accomplished that. So that and playing for a Big Ten or for a final top 10 ranking is a lot to play for. A little bit about our matchup. We feel like we have the best players in the country. When you saw the award show the other night with Kenneth Walker III winning the Walter Camp Player of the Year and being the running back first team, Kenny Pickett the first team quarterback, and Jordan Addison the first team wide receiver. The three skill positions that you need to be successful on offense are all playing in our game. This is the first time we've had a Big Ten ACC matchup since 1988, and this will be Michigan State's first time in the state of Georgia since 1971 when they played Georgia Tech. You know, in bowl games, you like scoring. We've got Pitt, who's averaging 43 points, and Michigan State averaging 32. That's 75 points by my math. That's a lot of points. If that holds true, that's always good for a bowl game and viewership. And talking about viewership, a little bit about our game. When we play, we're the first CFP game of the year this year. We're primetime, unopposed TV slot on December 30th at 7 o'clock. So it's going to be a great opportunity for Michigan State's brand to get a lot of play in front of a lot of people. We're one of the most competitive bowl games in the country. 53% of our games over our 54-year history have been settled by a touchdown or less. And we've sold out 22 of the last 24 games, and we think we're close to a sellout right now for this game. So we're looking forward to a sellout. I do want to thank you for the nice weather you've brought us today with the sunshine. It's nice and balmy in the 40s here, and I know what it could be. But we'll guarantee you 72 degrees in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, unlike the Penn State game this 2 weeks ago. The payouts per each team is $6 million per team. $2 million of that will go to team expenses, and then $4 million goes into the conference pot for bowl games. And you know, I want to talk a little bit about Mel Tucker. He's coached in our game back in 2000 with LSU. He's coached in our game at Georgia in the Chick-fil-A kickoff games. And to me, I know sometimes you're too close to the forest to see the trees, but for a coach to come in during a COVID year and take a team, I think it was 2-7 first year, to 10-2, and to win the Coach of the Year, and to do it with, I think it was 20 transfers. It's amazing, having coached basketball, what you have to do in a locker room to build a culture to get that kind of success. So that shouldn't go unforeseen by a lot of people. If you haven't played, you probably don't recognize it, but what he's accomplished, you know, and I know he's got Big Ten Coach of the Year, but it's phenomenal to do what he's done and to have a team ranked in the top 10 at 10-2. A little bit about our bowl game from its history. We were the 9th bowl established in college football. We were the first bowl established for charity. Most bowls like the Rose, the Sugar, the Orange were established for tourism, to bring people into their town at the end of the year when there may not be a lot of people staying downtown in the bars and restaurants and hotels. We were born to support the Lions Lighthouse, which works with people with eye problems, hearing problems in Georgia. We are the most charitable bowl organization in the country out of all 42 bowl games, I think there are. Just since 2002, we've given $58.2 million back to charities and scholarships. And that's something that's very, very humbly important to us, to be the most charitable bowl organization. This year, we'll donate close to $6 million back to charities and scholarships. And we established an endowed scholarship at every university that comes to our bowl game. And last year, John Lewis, who was a good friend of the bowl, passed away. We changed the endowed scholarship to the John Lewis Legacy of Courage Scholarship. And so this year, we'll donate $100,000 between us and Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl Inc. and Chick-fil-A, we each donate $50,000 for a total of $100,000 that will go to establish a John Lewis Legacy of Courage Scholarship here at Michigan State University. So that's very important to us. We've been ranked as one of the top 4 bowl games in the country with this matchup. You have the ACC champ against a Big Ten powerhouse, top 10 team that beat the number 2 team, I should mention, in the country. We all know their name. I won't mention it in this room. I guess that's not kosher. But they did beat the number 2 team in the country. So we are excited. I'll look forward to talking to any of you that want to afterwards about the bowl game in particular. But at this time, I'd like to bring up Alan to accept the invitation to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and I hope he accepts.
Absolutely.
Alan, congratulations.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. We look forward to hosting you and your family and the Michigan State family.
We're excited to be down there.
Thank you.
Well, welcome Chick-fil-A Bowl CEO President Gary Stokan. Also attending are Matt Garvey, Vice President of Communications, and David Epps, Chief Operating Officer and Vice President of Marketing. On behalf of Michigan State University and Spartan Athletics, we couldn't be more excited to accept the invitation to play in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Playing in a New Year's Six bowl game is a great reward for a team that's had an outstanding season. Coach Tucker and his staff have been busy on the recruiting trail, and bowl practices have yet to start. But I can tell you, from every conversation I've had with the staff and the players, they are excited to play in this game. I think as a tribute to Coach Tucker and his staff and the players, they have never allowed preseason expectations or restricted outside expectations to define them. They never became complacent, and they played every single down hard. I can't think of a better example of a culture of excellence we're building in Spartan Athletics. We've experienced great support from our fans all season, both at home and on the road. I can't wait for this community to rally one more time together to support our football student athletes. There are lots of Spartans in Southeast United States, and we've heard from many of them who plan on attending the game. It promises to be an exciting game in a championship and world-class stadium against a championship team. And it's easy to get to, and it's a fun city. So I can't wait for all the Spartans to go down to Atlanta and have a great time. Gary, thank you for this invitation. We're excited to be there, and go green. I now would like to introduce our head football coach, Mel Tucker.
Yeah, Gary, good job not mentioning the school down the road by name there. It's outstanding. Yep, so Gary, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Thanks for covering the team today. We're excited to be able to play in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl as part of the New Year's Six. Playing in a game of this magnitude is a reward for our players and our coaches and our fans for winning 10 games in the regular season. I know our fans will travel well to Atlanta. They roll deep when we go on the road. They're excited about being a part of this game, a New Year's Six Bowl, and supporting this team. We also do quite a bit of recruiting down in Georgia. We also have a lot of alumni in Georgia and the Southeast. They'll represent Spartan Nation well in Atlanta. I know the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl does a tremendous job all week of events and hospitality leading up to the game. Our players and staff are looking forward to that. Our players will have a great experience in Atlanta, and we're going to prepare hard to play Pitt. So with that being said, I'll wrap it up. Go green. Oof.
All right, we'll start with questions.
Right here in front of you, I wanted to ask, obviously you've been spending a lot of time the last week or so recruiting. When you have a game like this, a New Year's Six game, What does it do for the momentum of the program? Just the second year in, but are you feeling it out there on the recruiting trail? What does it mean overall for this program to do it this quickly?
No, it has a tremendous effect on our recruiting. Being on the road the past couple of weeks, I've been all over the country, and everyone's talking about Michigan State, the high school coaches, the players, the high school players, everyone involved in recruiting. They've taken note and really are excited about what we're doing, because they know me, they know the history of Michigan State, and they feel like this is a place where they can send players, and they like what we're doing. So it has a tremendous effect. And to go to a New Year's Six bowl and go 10-2 is big. I mean, there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of teams out here playing ball, and when it winds down to these precious bowl games, to be a part of it means that you've done something significant.
Hey, Mel in the front down here. What's it like balancing the two things right now when you get guys have a little time off, you guys are busy recruiting, and then you're actually still trying to ramp back up to practice with them also taking finals and just kind of everything that's going on, and what's the outlook when you guys will really start focusing on the game?
Yeah, well, really the past couple of weeks, the players have just been staying in shape with the strength and conditioning coaches, lifting and running. We'll start practice tomorrow, and we've been on the road for 2 weeks straight, and hosted some players, some recruits on the weekends, and so we'll dig into the game planning heavy this week. I know we did it, the assistant coaches did a lot this weekend, but we'll really dig in heavy today and tonight and throughout the week. So we'll balance it as a staff. The players, they're used to it. They're used to balancing academics and athletics, and we'll have a good plan for them. They know we have a process. We'll be efficient and effective in our preparation, and we'll be ready.
Mel, obviously the other part of this is navigating the portal again. How are you managing to do that on top of all this other stuff? Is there anything different about going after portal guys at this point in the year?
Well, yeah, it's a lot different this go around because we're actually able to visit with them face to face. We can they can come on visits. We can go see them. We just know a lot more about them, and we know a lot more about our team. So we know what our needs are, where we have immediate needs, where we need more depth, where we can afford to develop some guys, but also where we need some guys to come in and play right now and start. So, it's a little different dynamic, but we're built in our personnel department to recruit from the high school ranks and also from the portal, and we've been through it before. So it's just a matter of making sure that we just don't collect players, but we're building a team. There's a lot of players that want to come here. Right now, we only have so many spots, and we have to be very judicious in who we add to the mix, because we have to make sure that our roster is balanced and that we have enough players, enough difference makers at each position.
Mel, sort of staying with the portal situation there, after the success of last year in the portal and sort of being known for that success, and obviously Kenneth Walker's season that he had, is the response you get from players that are in the portal or them reaching out to you, has there been an effect based on the success of last year?
Well, they see what we've done with portal guys in the past, and so it makes a lot of sense to them that they come to Michigan State. They're going to get a fair shake. We play the best players. We don't show favoritism. It doesn't matter if you're recruited by the previous staff or if you're recruited by us or you're a high school guy or your portal guy. We're going to play the best guys, and they know that we have a plan. We have a process. We have a culture. We don't have sharp elbows in our locker room. So, anyone that we add to our team they're going to be welcome in the locker room with the players, and that's big. So it's that's kind of the way things have been going, and we'll just see what happens on signing date, and as these guys continue to join the team all the way into June.
Mel, right here. With this extra time, just how do you typically handle bowl prep? I mean, are there any sort of secondary goals or objectives you can get to? Obviously, preparing for Pitt is number one, but whether it's young guys or just guys you haven't gotten to look at it, things like that? Is there anything else that this time affords that obviously a week-to-week regular season deal doesn't?
Yeah, we'll have roughly 12 practices. The priority is to prepare for Pitt and make sure that we have our game plans in, offense, defense, and special teams. We have to make sure that our players are prepared, but they're also fresh and ready to go for the game. So we have to be smart about how much hitting we do and how much contact throughout this time, but making sure that they are ready to go and they're sharp. And then there's also going to be opportunities to give some more reps to some younger players. It's not like spring ball, but you do have more time to develop players, especially young players. Some guys who maybe haven't played as much, they may show up in this game. So we'll see how it goes. Now that we're off the road recruiting, we can dedicate all of our time here to preparation for the game.
Well, I wanted to get your reaction. Obviously, Kenneth won plenty of awards, but he wasn't one of the Heisman finalists. I was wondering what your reaction to that was. And also, I know we've asked you, we'll probably keep asking because it changes quickly, but is he still intending to play in this bowl game, do you know?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from any of the healthy guys yet in terms of if they're not going to play. That could change, as we go. We'll have to see about, the health of all of our guys and things like that. But what was the first part of your question?
Just not being a finalist.
Yeah. Well, it's really about controlling what you can control. And we really focus on, on some of the achievements that he did have, and that he got the awards that he did earn. And I told him a few days ago, we had a nice conversation. I said, listen, the awards, the ones you win, the ones you don't win, they don't define you as a person or as a player, and just keep that in mind. We appreciate you. You work really hard to get, to get what you have, to get where you are today. And just because you did or didn't win an award, that doesn't change who you are. Doesn't change what you've done. And so, he's a very humble, hard-working guy. He's very, very competitive. I personally wanted to see him, invited to New York for that, but it didn't happen. But it really doesn't take away from who he is as a person, who he is as a player. I think everyone knows that what type of player he is. From the first play of the season all the way to the last game of the year in the snow and playing through adversity and working through injuries and things like that, he always gave us everything he had, and he's a tremendous, tremendous player. He's a difference maker, and you can see that reflected in the awards that he did receive.
Mel, a couple of things here. I know you don't discuss injuries, but you were pretty beaten up late in the year. Even the Penn State game, which you won, you had a lot of players banged up. Do you expect this time off to give you a healthier roster than you last took the field?
Yeah, I would hope so. We've had some time to heal up, and so there's some guys that we anticipate getting back. There's some guys that they're out for the year, and we're not going to get those guys back into a spring ball, hopefully. But we will be stronger and have more depth going into the game. I anticipate that.
And just to follow up to Matt's question, you said you haven't heard from anyone. Do you have to do any kind of sell job on somebody like Kenneth? Are you counting on him playing in the game?
No, I'm not doing any types of sales jobs on guys. That's if guys feel like they want to play, then they're going to play. If it's in their best interest to play, they'll play. If it's not in their best interest to play, then I'm going to support them. And that's how I've approached it, over the years with guys. We have to go through the practices and see. Injuries are going to be a big part of it. Just the health of guys, and we're going to get as many guys ready to play as we possibly can. Our guys are very good about communicating with me in terms of what they want to do, how they feel about certain things, and so as we go through this process. I'll have a clear picture of who's going to play, who's going to be available to play.
And again, you have a good feeling that Kenneth is going to play in this game, or don't you know yet?
Yeah, I'm uncertain, about him. I know he's been battling through some things, and so we'll just have to continue to to monitor it. But I mean, he's not the only one. I mean, it's a fluid situation. We're going to get as many guys prepared and ready to go as we possibly can.
Hey, Mel in the front here. I was wondering with Travaris taking a job at Georgia Tech, how you view filling that opening and whether you intend to do, I guess, structure it how you had it before with Harlan overseeing the secondary and a cornerbacks coach, or if you're open to maybe shuffling it.
Yeah, I'm going to take my time with it. I don't have a rush. We have a really good idea of what we want to do, but we're going to have flexibility. We're going to get the best person who's the best fit for coaching and also for recruiting.
We talked about Kenneth, but you obviously got a Big Ten Coach of the Year award as well. What does that mean to you, and is there a benefit to that in recruiting?
Well, for me, it's really a team award, and that may sound cliche, but I'm not a one-man show here. So I have a great staff, the 10 coaches, all the analysts, the GAs, all of the support staff. We've talked about it all season. Our entire organization, everyone has a role and everyone's important. And so me getting an award like Big Ten Coach of the Year is just a reflection of all of the hard work that we all have done, for our team. That's really what it means to me. Now, when we go out into on the recruiting trail and things like that, or when I'm with alums, it's a topic of discussion. They congratulate me and say, hey, that's a heck of a job. That's a great honor. There's a lot of great coaches in that conference, and so the recognition, it only helps. People are taking note of what we're doing here in East Lansing, and it's a good thing. And it's not me, the focus, but it's more our program, our university, the visibility of what we're doing, how we're going about doing it. It's exciting. People see the vision, they see the growth. They're really taking notice that there's the tide is turning and we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I was curious how you approach high school versus the portal. And when you're looking at high school kids, is it much more about projection, and the portal kids much more about can they step in and produce?
Yeah, everything is a projection. Even in the National Football League, there was 3 different organizations, 10 drafts, 10 free agency periods. And when we looked at the draft, we looked at it as a 3-year projection with most of the teams I was with. And it was, you evaluate guys on, how soon do you think they'll be able to produce at the level where you drafted them. So sometimes you draft guys to be starters, and is he going to be a day one starter, or will he be better than the person in front of him, through a quarter of the year or halfway through the year, or is it going to be we think he's going to be a starter, in year 2, and then you evaluate everything and you prepare him, in that way. Sometimes you draft guys to be backups. Everyone's not drafted to be a starter, and so can he step in right away and be a backup, or is it going to take a year or so? And then what is he going to do on special teams? What's going to be the impact? Same thing in recruiting the high school players. Is he going to be able to step in and play right away? Is he going to be more of like a second-year starter? And you project that. You don't really know until you get them here. And finally, it's the same thing with the portal. It's the same thing with the portal guys.
Is there a position group that's easier or harder to project?
Well, that's a great question. Offense and defensive linemen, especially the O-linemen, the big guys, you have to really do a great job of projecting, because you're not exactly sure what they're going to become because they're so big. And so you really have to, a lot of times we redshirted a lot of young linemen this year. And, you'll bring in a guy that's 6'4.5", and next thing you know, he's 6'6". When you bring in a guy that's, maybe he's got a lot of body fat and his body composition is not exactly what it needs to be, but you can project from his frame and things like that. You say, hey, this guy's going to be able to do this, and next thing you know, he's turned, he may go from 20% body fat to 11%, in a year's time, and he's a totally different looking guy. So the big guys are a little bit harder to project. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You go on athleticism and how they move and things like that, and then you can do a projection. Defensive backs, especially corners, is another position that's a little bit more difficult. A lot of times the best corners aren't actually playing corner in high school, and sometimes the guys that are the best corners are actually playing safety, because in high school the coaches put the players in a position where they can make the most plays, and if you have a guy who's only playing corner, you got to watch tons and tons of tape to see them get really any action, because a corner could be in a game 60 plays and he can only be at the point of attack 4 or 5 times in high school. So just to give you a little insight on that.
Mel, right here in the middle. You touched on it briefly after Penn State, but with the contract extension, what does it kind of mean to you to be the highest paid African-American coach in sports? And did you kind of expect that trajectory for your career?
Yeah, well, I hadn't really thought about it that much. We've been on the road recruiting. We played on Saturday and Sunday. We've been on the road every day, and then on the weekends we come back. And I think it means more about where Michigan State's going as a program, and the support that we have and the commitment that we're making to having a great program and excellence on and off the field is really, at this point, as I think about it, it means more about that than just me.
Mel, you referred to the 2021 class as your Zoom babies. Just wondering how that group was coming along.
The Zoom babies, yeah, they're coming along nicely. I mean, it's funny because it's exactly what we told them it would be when we recruited them and they got here. I think that's the reason why they're having success, and it's working out, because we didn't overpromise. We told them exactly what it's going to be, what we're going to expect, this type of locker room that we have. Come in, be ready to play right away, or whatever. And I mean, they're coming along. They're coming along nicely. I mean, I don't have any complaints. There's always a constant evaluation, and you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out once they get here. But for the most part, I was pleased with the way they came in and what they did for this particular team. We have to continue to raise the bar in recruiting, and we're doing that. And we have to do a great job developing the players that are in the program.
Mel, Gary brought up all of the talented guys that could potentially play in this bowl game. And so with Kenny Pickett, though, also being undecided, would it not diminish the allure of the game, but would it be a disappointment if a lot of talented guys did not play?
Well, we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. As a coach, we have to prepare for them to be at full strength and all their guys play until we know anything differently. And then as things go, sometimes we may find out on game day. That's not going to diminish the excitement and the intensity and the importance of the game, in my opinion, because when that first time that ball turns over, all that goes out the window, and we're keeping score. It's a binary deal. You either get a 1 or a 0, and so it's game on from there.
Hey, Mel in the front here. Do you expect all the guys you have committed to your 2022 class to sign on Wednesday, and do you think you're going to get to that number 25?
Well, I'm sure we'll be able to get to the number at some point. If we don't get to it this month, we'll get to it in February. So we'll see. Guys that are committed, of course, you expect those guys to sign, but you never know. You never know until you actually get the paperwork back, and so we'll see. Nothing surprises me anymore in football, especially in recruiting. We feel really good about the guys that we have committed.
Mel, I understand we're going to hear from you again Wednesday on the recruiting, but
you're going to hear from me again?
I believe so.
Okay.
And just so you know.
Sure about that? Okay.
At any rate, we can get into this more, but the Michigan State football brand has changed pretty dramatically here in the last 3 months. Are you feeling on the road that momentum with Michigan State being much more visible than it's been here in recent past?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the players, they have short memories, so they may be focused a little bit about what a team did last year or the year before, but they're really looking at who's doing what right now, and then kind of projecting that team into the future. And so, everyone sees that we have momentum and that we have a bright future. In terms of like the high school coaches and some of the players that we were recruiting before the season, we had quite a few commitments before the season started. There's really no surprise. I mean, I think that we've been able to recruit well even before the season started because people know our staff, they know what we're all about, they know that we're a get it done staff, we're going to figure it out. They know we've been recruiting hard, so it's not really a surprise to a lot of the football people at the other schools that we're recruiting against, and also the high school coaches and things like that. They knew that at some point we were going to get it going, and so. But yeah, we're in the mix in this class with some big time players, and they all of these players want to play on a huge stage. They want to play in front of a packed stadium. They want to be on national TV. They want to get recognition. A lot of the players that we've recruited have come to see us play at home, and they've been very, very impressed with our fans, our student section, our band, the whole atmosphere, the Sparty. I mean, everything. They're just in awe of what they're seeing, and we're able to attract some folks to take a look. We've been able to attract some folks to take a look, and what almost all of them say that are not from the state is that it's way, way, way better than we thought it was going to be. They come here, they see us, they come on a visit, they come to a game, and they actually think, like, they actually say that is this too good to be true? Like, what's the catch? Like, what's the catch? Is this how it is every day? I mean, is this what you guys do? There's got to be something wrong. Like, no, there's nothing wrong. This is just what we're doing, and this is how we go about it, and it's real. And so we're able, because of the success that we've had on the field, we're able to maybe get some folks to take a look to consider us that maybe haven't in the past, and they like what they see once they really take a look behind the curtain.